I am a fan of presentation, making that first impression, sparking the curiosity, initiating a long devoting fan. Many of these figures I've never seen in person, only their exterior graphic, in the high, pristine packaging we expect only from LEGO. 2002 and 2003 primarily depict a well-known trope dating long before the toy line in 2001, showing the sides of good and evil, hero and villain. We started with the simplicity depicting the overlap of the Hao and Krana Za. 1 year later, the design is replicated with Tanak Kal and the silhouette of Matanui. In this era, we also had the updated Matoran. I've come to really appreciate this. Each Matoran looks to be enshrouded in a mist, but I especially love the backdrop, looking like a render from the movie that released the same year. The Toa Mari truly benefit from the blue liquid backdrop, giving each a great contrast when designing and reflecting on the dark depths. Keep the waters dark and blue. Allow the Toa to spark and illuminate. I'm also a fan of the Rahaga box art. Much goes into these miniature graphics. Each Rahaga is standing on their own specific plane, with their associated metru in the backdrop, color coordinated to their element. Really well designed. I regret disposing of the box when I finished constructing Gaki. The Agori also have their own flair. These backdrops are nothing less than monochromatic, which plays in to all of the stats, Bionicle logo, and character's name. They don't distract from the colorized backdrop. A lot of thought goes into the box design of Toa Matanui. Using the glyph design to cover the side of the box, it stands out even if it's shelled with only its spine visible. But I love his transition of standing in the desert, but interrupting the glyph design, creating a 3D effect. I do a similar thing with my thumbnails, including the one for this video. And the giant connector on the back truly creates a sense of depth and contrast. Now, I'm turning my attention to Carlos de Onda and Randy Elliott, responsible for the gorgeous comic settings in the first era of the toy line. Looking hard into everything they put into the first 5 years, I must give the honor to issue 27, Fractures, highly detailed sketch of Rahaga's head build, interrupting the word of fractures, which itself is in a perspective angle. And above we have the Battle of Metru Nui. Roodaka is in profile, Fractures is in perspective, and the Battle of Metru Nui set is seen from a downward angle. A truly superfluous cover art. This Japanese Mask of Light poster is truly associated with the country in regards to how chaotic it is. The original 6 Toa Nuva surrounded in fire for some reason, and Makuta decked out in a candy apple red.
Tell you what, throw a little hot rod red in there.
Yes, that should help you keep a low profile.
Another seldom seen poster is the teaser for Legends of Metru Nui. I assume before it had its official title. It even says in theaters fall of 2004. Perhaps this was LEGO's intention, but I appreciate the poster. It's an ominous hint that it's going to the past of the Taraga's lives. I would have loved to have seen this come to fruition. A true example of what could have been. I cannot complete this video without glancing into the depths of Carta Nui, looking into the brilliant box design. The Axelar T9 comes to mind. Liwa and the vehicle are displayed in 2 poses, giving us a 3-dimensional detail to the set contained. LEGO could have stayed with the swamp backdrop, but instead, we have half of it taken up by a grid pattern and a lovely, subtle blue gradient to the Bionicle logo, giving a 3rd depth for a 3rd dimension. I recall the last time you placed your logo in the bottom right corner. Let's look into the magazine art. A prominent example is this original from 2001. Tahu is about to get Rahi gangbanged. We have a Miru and a Pakari trapped in the sand. Then a faint, saturated Hao and Matanui in the backdrop, Protodermis and Bionicle logo in the top left, and both Lego and Technic off-centered at the bottom. This early on, Lego suspected they could sell Bionicle on its name alone. I also appreciate the March and April 2007 issue, the Baraki encircling the cover, and wave text to describe the passage of the magazine. This is exceptionally well done, keeping the water and the edges dark and high contrast, and brightening up each of the Baraki's faces. An intimidating cover. I am going to conclude this week's subject with a prominent focus covering the first era of Bionicle. This magazine trio, showing the passage of Bionicle from 2001 into the final battle of Cardanui in 2008. Once again, text and story is secondary, concentrating entirely on the visuals, the teams of Toa, the major villains, and the battle they've waged. I can't imagine how difficult these 3 pages were to craft, forming a trifold poster. It's as though it has no focal point and entices you to draw into every piece composed on these pages. The identity of Bionicle is a myriad of kanohi, multiple themes, multiple irrelevant genres, compiled into a world we only imagined. But Lego always put the figures first. You could exist as a fan from 2001 into the closing era of 2009, never knowing the story, never knowing that blue usually means female, through visual, through interaction alone. That's the heart of Bionicle. It has always been about the figures. I don't care how fragile Toa Hali Marty is. She's well designed, and a gorgeous figure I admire. Many fans did feel lost by the end. The popularity was fading, but behind the scenes, Lego was recovering.